Absolutely. Now let's move over from politics in Nigeria to talking South Africa, violence in South Africa. Cape Town is in South Africa is known as one of the world's most famous holiday destinations, but the mother city is also known for being a drug and gang hub. And now it also has the unfortunate title of being South Africa's mass shooting capital.
In the past 3 months, Cape Town has seen around 6 mass shooting incidents in which three or more people have been shot. Police say that that gang crime and extortion is at the heart of this trend. Now, joining us to unpack this further is Thando George from the Social Justice Coalition. The NGO has over the years been working to improve policing in some of the affected areas, including in Kyayelisha. I know I didn't get that right, Thando, but you might help me out. But, it's interesting, a lot of people, when talking about mass shootings, they would most likely refer to the United States, that has seen, so much of it in the last couple of years. But not many people remember that it is happening in South Africa also. So help me out here. The areas of Manenberg and the name I just didn't pronounce, Kyayelisha, and others have seen several shootings where 3, 6, as many, more shootings, have gone on. What exactly is the problem here?
So to help you out, good morning, firstly.
Good morning.
The pronunciation is Kyayelisha.
Kyayelisha. Okay.
Thank you.
Please go ahead.
I think the mass media has only really caught wind of the mass shootings recently. However, these have been issues that have existed for decades. Which was why the Social Justice Coalition started the Kyayelisha Commission of Inquiry. And that was to investigate the mass shootings and the violence in informal settlements in Kyayelisha.
All right, now let's talk about, gangsterism being a problem. But your organization has also raised concerns around the quality of policing in Cape Town. Would you say that there are enough police resources for the affected areas?
Definitely there aren't. So what we're seeing is that Black and poor people living in Kyayelisha and people from working class communities really have very poor access to quality policing in South Africa. We've also seen that allocation of police resources is not being generated or geared towards people who are living in informal settlements and people who are more prone to living in violence. So we do see a disconnect between, the distribution of resources in accordance to crime, violent crime specifically in those informal settlements.
All right. A few years ago, there was a Kyayelisha commission which was looking specifically at the policing in the area. What were the main recommendations? And, since then, has the government done anything, to put them to action?
So the main thing that came out of the Kyayelisha Commission of Inquiry is that the relationship between people living in informal settlements and the police had completely broken down. And this is due to years and decades of people not receiving adequate policing. And in that process, lost trust in the police's ability to provide safety to those communities. Some other recommendations that came through was the need to have increased public lighting. Currently, Kyayelisha still uses apartheid type lighting for people living in informal settlements. Other informal settlements don't have any lighting at all, which makes it impossible for police to provide their functions when it's dark. Other recommendations were that each police station needs to have a GBV unit, which is available for women to provide adequate services for them. There was also another recommendation to have a police station built because the commission found that the ratio of people and the type of crime does not match the amount of resources that are currently available. So those are some of the main recommendations. Also, just to add, to have guidelines on how to adequately police informal settlements, because currently in South Africa, there are no guidelines that exist on how to provide adequate policing for people that live in informal settlements.
Now let's talk about the people living in these areas. With so many shootings taking place frequently, what does it do to the quality of their life?
People are constantly stressed. They're anxious. They don't know when the next mass shooting will happen. In areas like Manenberg, which are very gang prone, innocent bystanders are very easily hit by stray bullets and they're caught in the fray. So children are afraid to play outside. People are afraid to just walk around and feel free in their environment. So you find that people have a very limited quality of life. They tend to stay indoors and because they're just afraid to be out in case a mass shooting erupts.
Okay, well, I also want to, ask, we had a conversation yesterday, and one of the things that was blamed for seemingly increase in violence in South Africa at this time was alcohol. But I wanted, to get from your perspective, is there something going on in South Africa that maybe isn't being spoken about that, might be increasing the violence and, some of these shootings across Cape Town?
So the Minister of Police in South Africa has cited on numerous occasions that alcohol plays a huge role in the amount of shootings and violence. But I think it's also important that we look at the socio-economic context of South Africa. In that, we came from a very violent country during apartheid, and into our democracy, a lot of the violence has, a lot of those structural inequalities have not been remedied. So we're finding that violence is increasing. People are unemployed. I mean, currently the stats are that 63% of youth are unemployed in the country. So yes, violence is an issue. Alcohol contributes to it. But I think it's important that we look at, the broader socio-economic, issues that are affecting and other challenges, developmental challenges that South Africa is facing that are also impacting the increased violence.
All right. Thando, George, thank you so much for your time this morning. We, of course, will continue to follow these stories, and we hope that something improves with regards to the level of policing and the interest that the government in Cape Town, shows to the safety of lives and property over there. Thank you so much for your time.